Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shawn Marie and I share all things homemaking with you guys. And that includes recipes, decorating, design, and DIY. And today, we are going to tackle a really big DIY. And that's going to come in the form of beginning my kitchen renovation. I have been anticipating and dreading this day for a very long time, and it's finally here. Scott and I wanted to pop into Lowe's to see if they had any type of the cabinets that we were thinking in our heads for the design of the kitchen. And lo and behold, they had cabinets that I was looking for. These are unfinished oak cabinets. They actually just had one of each, which again, I just kind of call this all kismet. I was supposed to get these. So we ended up loading these into the Denali and they came home with us. And now I'm really ready to go forward with the kitchen run. I am super happy and super pleased. We just paid a little over $500. I got a corner Lazy Susan carousel cabinet. I got a 36-inch double door cabinet with a drawer, and I got a 12-inch cabinet that has a small drawer and a door in that. I think that was a really great price for these cabinets. We did buy a little bit more reinforcement. We got a little angle iron that Scott wants to cut in half and just reinforce the sides of each piece. You know, they're not high end. I didn't pay $20,000 to do my kitchen because I don't have $20,000 to do my kitchen. But a little over 500 I can do, and I consider that an absolute win, and still an extreme budget win. I wasn't going to waste time going to all these places to find it. It was at Lowe's. It was a price I was willing to pay. I am really excited now. So I'll have my dining room table back soon. We won't be covered in pots and pans forever. Well, it is in fact the next day. Got my coffee. I am getting ready to start. So I went into Lowe's last night and I picked up what I think I'm going to need for this project. I got this really fun Cobalt 3-in-1 tool. It has some really neat saw blades that I think I'll be able to get into specific points because I can't hack this. This has to be cut correctly. I also got, I don't know what kind of saw this is. Does it say? It's a fine saw with a comfort grip handle. But it's ideal for laminate and veneer, and I'm cutting a laminate counter. I'm only going to be able to get so close to the back with my skill saw. It's inevitable you have a space. So I wanted something flush that I could do up or down and get myself to the wall to get the rest of this off. This blade that actually has 60 teeth, and I do know that I need a lot of teeth. The less teeth, the rougher the cut. The more teeth, the smoother the cut. Because I'm cutting my counter just zip right off, I need that edge to be nice and flat and clear and not jagged and hacked up right now. So this is what I was told to do. This is what I'm going to do. And I also grabbed some 140 tooth ones because it says it's good, you know, for this particular type of material as well. Now, because I'm being rushed into this and I'm not necessarily ready exactly for this renovation, my oven broke, it's forcing the new one in now. I'm not worrying about this today, and I'm not worrying about this. I'll show you, but this pot here is what is coming out, and it's coming out from those drawers right there where that yellow tape is, right there, that all the way over to here. This is where the stove is going to go. Now, the other problem, which I need the help of Fran for, my ex-husband worked in the natural gas field his entire life. He just retired, so I trust him explicitly, and I am so glad that we have this amazing relationship still where he comes over and him and my husband are friends, and he's here to help me when I need it. So because this is a cooktop, and I do not know for what other reason, and he couldn't figure it out either, the gas pipe comes up this floor about 8 inches out of the wall. So that means my gas pipe is right about here. And that's not going to work for a new stove unit that's going in here. So he has to pipe it back to the wall, the 8 inches, and get it ready for that stove. So what we're focusing on today is he is going to shut off the gas to my home. He's going to cap off the gas that goes to the kitchen, and then he's going to turn my gas back on, which is the safe way to do it. He's going to help me remove this cooktop because I'm not necessarily comfortable even with the gas off. I'm not comfortable with gas type things. So he's going to help get that out. And then I am going to remove this entire section right here of counter. And that's going to be today's focus. Now, I also have a couple things I have to think about while this is all happening. And that is, I have an outlet, as you can see right here. It ideally needs to move like a foot that way in order for my stove. My stove will not be able to go here. My stove has a backing on it, a stainless steel back, like a backsplash. And it's not going to be able to fit exactly the way I wanted it. My goal was to get a pull-out spice rack for on this side, and the stove would kind of butt up over there. It's not going to be able to happen because of that outlet, and I don't know if I want to get into having an electrician come move it. We do have friends, they would do it for us, but I don't know if I want to do that. So, I've got time to think about that. What I don't have time for is to wait any longer to get this stove in. So, like I said, today's focus is this section right here. Coming out, I have emptied my drawers. Look at that. It has like linoleum from the 70s in there. It's great. Actually, it'd be the 60s. And I have to take all of these pots and pans out, but this is actually going to be really good because I'm going to reevaluate my need for some of these. Do I really need all of these? I'm not sure. If I haven't touched them in a long time, the answer is probably no, I do not need them. And some of them, the surfaces are just kind of not that great anyways, and it's time for them to go. Because I don't like cooking with a Teflon surface, but I do have Teflon pans. I know it's not good for you, but whatever. But the ones that are like ripped and jagged and cut from over the years, I think those are more dangerous to cook with as far as the chemical actually seeping into your food. And I'd like to get rid of those, but I'm going to reevaluate this. There is a gas valve under here that needs to get shut off, and I can't do anything until Fran comes to do that. So I'm just going to finish my coffee. I'm going to empty this out, go through this, see what I need and what I don't need, and go from there. But I'm also going to lay a towel on my table because I'm not setting all this on my beautiful dining room table. Oh, my house is going to look like a bomb went off for the weekend, and I hate that. But hopefully this is really going to be worth it. Let's get this cleaned out. Not going to be that much fun. I ended up just making 3 piles, a keep for the upstairs, a donation pile, and an add to the basement kitchen because that one's not stocked. But I do have to tell you, it felt really good to go through this and purge what I don't need and consolidate everything that I'm going to keep. This was a win for sure. All right, so I've got it all emptied out, and as you can see that? That gas line's like 8 inches from the wall, so that has to be moved. But I'm fairly confident demo on this is going to be pretty easy. There's not a whole lot to it. Have you ever done demo work before? This is a first for me. I've done like sheetrock type demo, but I've never taken cabinets down and reconfigured a design. I'm at a standstill, but at least it's cleaned out, it's ready to go. Because I'm forced into this a little quicker than I was ready to be. I am not just going to make rush decisions and buy something just to get it done. I want what I want, and if I have to do this in steps to make it work on this extremely tight budget, that's what I'm going to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you can live with a little discombobulation and a little mess for a little while, go for it. I'm going to have to. I'm going to make it work, and this kitchen's going to be fabulous when it's done. But it's not real fabulous right now. So I'm going to wait for Fran, drink my coffee, and I'll see you guys hopefully really soon. So Fran got here and disconnected the gas to the house so that he can now safely start dismantling the connections underneath, and we can begin to remove this cooktop, which is the first step. So there's an outlet under there which the stove plugs into, and the new stove will plug into as well. But we needed to get that off the backing of the plywood cabinets because that's all coming out. So Fran killed the power to the kitchen, safety first, and he is now removing that outlet from the plywood backing. We're just going to tuck it off to the side for now, but we have to get that off in order to rip this unit out now. Cooktop is all out, so now it's time for the cabinet to come out. Now we're just going to remove the old rails from the two drawers that used to be attached to this piece, and then we'll be ready to start smashing it apart and cutting. Because we have to keep the counter edge in meticulous shape and perfectly flat and not jagged, my brother's actually using hand tools and he's going to notch out pieces of it to ensure that we get that really smooth edge. And there you have the original counter to the house in all of its baby pink, baby blue, and baby yellow glory. There are actually leaves on there, and I'm just so glad this isn't part of design today, but how cool that the entire counter was under there. Yeah, I'm impressed. My brother was using the various tools that we had bought and that he had to get this counter out. I think this is a multi-tool. I don't even know it's mine. I have no idea what it's called, but I know I bought it. But it's kind of vibrates and it makes a nice smoother cut because as you can see, there's many layers to this counter. There's the original 1960s to the house. Then there is a plywood, like MDF kind of interior. And then there is the counter that you see there on top of all of that. So he's had to go through layer upon layer and use various different tools to be able to dismantle this part. But as you can see, he does get it to come off, and it is almost completely undone at this point, which is a good thing. Now we're kind of just discussing, how we're going to get this base off, and hopefully there's drywall behind it. So here he's actually separating it at the floor level, which you need to do, and it's now out. This is a giant mess. It's been a super long day, and I think we all could call it a night at this point. Let's resume this in the morning. Today we are going to repipe the gas line and get the stove in here. But before we can do that, this floor back here, as you can see, there is like a ½ inch difference in height. So I had to cut a piece of plywood and we are gonna put it down there and just level it so that everything will be ready for the stove to go right over it. I know the stove has adjustable feet, but I want it level and straight. So that's the game plan for right now. I know it's hard to tell from this angle, but that back plywood space that you see is a ½ inch lower than the kitchen floor right there. So Scott is actually measuring to see where the differences are, and we use paint sticks to shim it underneath, which ends up working out perfect. And he has a million of them because he does auto body. So he's just checking out his shim work to make sure that we are all on the money and everything is totally good to go. So he is just going to add a few screws and we are now ready to repipe the gas. Fran has arrived, so now he is going to reroute the gas line. It has to go back 8 inches against the wall because it was 8 inches off of the wall, which is kind of goofy to me, but I'm just grateful I have someone who can do it. So that's where we're at now, and I'm gonna get this stove in the house. Ugh. And did I mention it's like pouring and muddy and gross outside? Because it totally is. Fran got all the piping done in the basement, and now he is just connecting to that by creating the new hole for the gas line. He went through no problem. He's just getting all of the pipes repaired. Remember, he is licensed to do this. And once he just puts that goop on, he's going to put the pipe down and we are good to go. I have a new gas line for my new stove. And while he was doing this, I made the executive decision to get an electrician over here pronto and move the outlet. Our friend Kevin, who's a licensed electrician, was able to come right over and move the outlet about 20 inches over to the left. This had to be done because of where the stove is going. It actually would have covered the old outlet, and that just wouldn't work for me. So it's all set now. We are still going strong. It's a little after 5 p.m. Our new gas line is in, our new subfloor is in. I had the electrician come out and we have our new outlet that they put in. So it used to be here and he moved it there, and this hole makes no difference because this is all being done over once the cupboards are coming down, so I'm not worried. I'm just gonna actually throw a piece of tape over that for right now. And the guys are actually bringing the stove in. I'm really excited for my stove. And hopefully it will fit through, it's gotta come through the Hall of Fabulousness right there, through the slider. And this opening right here is just a little wider than 30. It's like 30 and a quarter. The stove is 30. So we're really hoping that we don't have to take any of the molding off the side, but you know, we might have to. That could be part of it, I don't know. But we're just gonna try to bring it straight through. Cleared out the Hall of Fabulousness, so it is ready for the oven to come in. I'm excited. Now it was time for Fran to convert this from propane back to natural gas, and that involves the world's tiniest drill bit. It's just that precise of a thing that you have to do to it to do the conversion. But he ended up getting it all done, and now he is officially connecting up my stove to the gas line because everything should be ready to go, and we are just going to do the test, and look at that. It is perfect. We are in business. We are connected to natural gas. My stove is ready. The only thing left to do is put the knobs back on, secure everything in place, and close the oven and the whole unit up because it's done. It's ready, and I couldn't be happier. My stove is in! Oh my gosh, like, I'm very emotional right now. I've had anxiety all weekend. This is a very big step for me, anxiety-wise. Like, it has been, I've never been one for anxiety, and this has really put me over the edge. But now that the stove is done, I am so happy. And the first meal I'm cooking isn't exactly what I would have chosen had I had the time and the thought to do so. It is now 7:10 at night, and I am cooking up some sausage and some peppers on my stove. And I literally just have some kielbasa over here, and we're just gonna have that in some hot dog rolls because it's really late. This has been a huge project for the weekend. I did not think it was going to take this long. I did not expect to find cabinets for my home, but I did. And what's super funny is the 12-inch one fits right there perfectly for right now, because this is step one. We are not done. This is just the end of step one. The new stove is in. I'm just gonna cook us our dinner right now, and we are done with step one of the kitchen renovation on the most extreme budget anybody has ever seen. And you know what? I'm gonna do this. Watch and see what this kitchen's gonna look like when I'm done. Stay tuned. So part one is finished. Now part two is definitely going to consist of demoing this corner cabinet right here and removing that oven. All of that has to come out because we have the corner carousel bottom cabinet that's going to go there. This drawer that nicely fit here for right now is not going to be able to stay there because of the width of the carousel corner cabinet. But I have to have the carousel corner cabinet because that is what is going to hold this stuff. I don't keep a lot of stuff in the house, but things of this nature that I can't even describe. There's no rhyme or no reason. This is just what I keep in the house. This has to have a place in the house to still stay. That's where the corner carousel cabinet will come in, and that is why this cabinet is not going to be able to stay. This cabinet is going to go here. But this whole thing slides down a bit once that has been removed and the carousel is over there. And then we are going to custom make an angled cookbook case. Yeah, like there's still a lot to do. So phase one is done. Phase two is this has to come out. This absolutely has to come out. I have to get the corner carousel in there. I have to know what I am working with for space, for width, what's left over, what do I have room for? Can I put a spice cabinet there? Do I have to put a blank in front so you can't see it? There are a lot of unknowns with this. This is such a rush. I'm really having a panic attack over all of this, but I have to keep telling myself it's going to be fine. It's gonna be fine. This is so weird to me. I mean, I've had that oven for so long and just a stovetop, and now I have like this whole unit, and I can like open it and be like, hey, I'm cooking dinner. And it's just, it's wild to me. I am grateful that I found this amazing deal on Marketplace. And, you know, long story short, the people who bought this stove upgraded to the newer model. This is a 20-year-old stove. This is not a brand new stove. This is a 20-year-old Fisher & Paykel DCS 30-inch convection gas range. They had it set for propane. Friend converted it back to natural gas, which is what my home has. And now I have this stove that I'm like really freaking excited for. I don't know any other way to say it. I'm excited for this stove. It's really pretty. We have decided on a countertop. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's one that both he likes and that I like, and that I think will super complement this kitchen. Also, we have decided on a color. And I'm actually going to blame McKenna. You must watch McKenna Kiss Hug on YouTube. I love her. I think she's just the sweetest little thing, for real. She's an amazing girl. Really admire her. So anyways, I've watched her, and I've watched her redo the cottage with Romeo, and all I've heard is Pashmina, 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 Pashmina. And I definitely am a Benjamin Moore girl, as you know. So I checked out the shade of Pashmina, and I showed it to Scott. And my cupboards are going to be this gorgeous Pashmina color. My walls are no longer going to be gray. The chickens are gone. The faux tin is gone. All of that is gone. It is going to be this gorgeous, dreamy, creamy off-white, and I am really excited for this new kitchen. And we have new lights that are actually going to go into our ceiling, hopefully. And I'm just done. It's really being all done on a budget. Now, we do have friends that are electricians. We do have friends that can do our gas piping. We are incredibly blessed in that area, and I'm very thankful for that. And that is also enabling me to keep this at like a ridiculously low, almost non-existent budget, if you will, for real. Because I don't have any money, it's all still right here, you know? Because I wasn't expecting to do this right now. I really wasn't. Not right now. Soon, but not this minute. And yet here we are. And here's my stove. This was an incredible investment for me, and I am really excited about that stove. Again, thank you so much for joining me for this impromptu weekend of renovation. I wasn't expecting to do what we did this weekend. I wasn't expecting to find cabinets. They're not custom. None of this is custom, but I promise you, this is the most extreme budget kitchen you are going to see, and it is going to be beyond fabulous. We're into fantabulous. This kitchen is going to look amazing when I'm done, and it is going to be done on such an extreme budget. People are going to go, but how'd you do that? Let me show you how I'm going to do it step by step. Step one is done. Thank you so much for joining me this weekend as we put my new Fisher & Paykel stove in. I am so excited. Be sure to stay tuned for part 2, because part 2 is the demo of the corner cabinet and possibly the uppers. We have our cabinets. We even decided on countertop. Like, we are so ahead of this game. It isn't funny. Extreme budget kitchen makeover done on my timeline with my resources, and you wait until you see what I'm gonna do. It is going to be freaking amazing, okay? Totally. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't considered subscribing yet, I hope you'll hit that button now. And if you haven't already, smash that notification bell, and you will always be notified when I upload new content and never miss any of this. Because come on, who wants to come late to this party? Seriously. I will see you guys real soon. Thanks so much again. Bye, friends.